still can't believe it. After 3 titles, Megaman is finally going to be in Smash 4 for Wii U and 3DS. And the last few years, it seemed even less likely that was going to happen. What with Mega Man seemingly under the boot of Capcom, which pretty much began with the cancellation of Legends 3. And with this week being the 15th anniversary of Legends 1 release in North America... Seriously? Damn it, I'm old. It's time to sit back and ask the question. What the f*** happens? For a good 10 years, Mega Man was one of Nintendo's biggest franchises, despite being developed by Capcom. The NES and Super Nintendo titles are still regarded by many as some of the best old-school, masochistic titles ever. But there is no denying that after numerous sequels, the Mega Man concept was seriously getting stale. With the announcement of Sony getting into the console race, Mega Man's developer, Keiji Inafune, saw it as a chance to mix things up, and started work on a brand new game for the upcoming Sony PlayStation. A demo of his project would be released in Japan alongside a demo of Resident Evil 2. The demo called itself Rockman Neo, but the title would be eventually changed to Rockman Dash. But to us, the game is simply Mega Man Legends. We open up on a flooded Earth, where land is small and energy is scarce. And if you see this guy, please shoot him. Anyway, the new Earth relies on an energy source known as refractors, which are sourced by people known as diggers, who hunt for them in their flying machines. Our game focuses on one in particular, a kid named Megaman. No, not that one, or that one, or that one, or most definitely not these ones. No, this one is Mega Man Volnut, and alongside his childhood friend Roll, her grandfather Barrel, and their dancing, game-saving monkey Data, soar across the world in search of a legendary treasure known as the Motherlode. Unfortunately, their flying machine, the Flutter, runs into trouble and they are forced to land on a small island known as Cowlock. No sooner do they arrive when they are confronted by pirates. More specifically, a female pirate by the name of Tron Bon, who, after Mega Man rescues her from a dog, starts to get weird feelings about him, even when he defeats her adorable army of Servbots and her brothers Tisu and Bon.
I don't understand. Whenever I think about him, I get this funny feeling. Oh, forget it! Who cares what this feeling is?
Now, would you believe back in 1997 that these two sticks didn't exist? That's right. In 1997, there was no DualShock. And every old school PlayStation player sorely remembers it. Ow. You use the D-pad to move forward, backward, and strafe left and right. However, I found it much better to swap the directional buttons with the L1 and R1 buttons. Pressing X and the left or right button will form a quick dodge move, but I found that circling your enemies by holding down a shoulder button and a D-pad button while shooting was much more effective, especially considering at times you can get swarmed by enemies with no ability to dodge whatsoever. Roll, being a master engineer, is able to make new weapons and enhance them for you in the support car she repairs, which allows you to fast travel over the island. The items are built from parts you find in the mines in either holes in the wall or in the many treasure chests littered around the place, as well as finding parts in rubbish bins. Sadly, no hamburgers though. When you defeat enemies, they usually drop energy cubes in basic geometric shapes, which are called Zenny, the currency of this game. The money goes towards buying upgrades for your Buster Gun, as well as buying upgrades to your health by raising its level or buying backup canteens. The mines are where the real fun is though. Going into their depths to loot all you can find, taking huge refractors, as well as fighting giant bosses at Wait a minute. Underground mines? Bosses to fight? Treasure chests? Additional health containers? An entire world to explore? Okay, here's the thing. Megaman Legends was released in Japan in December of 1997, an entire 11 months before a certain other game would be released with all the features I just mentioned. In a way, Legends was Ocarina before Ocarina. Now before you try and sue me again, I know you wouldn't miss this time. While it's true that Legends does most of what Ocarina would bring, honestly, Ocarina did much better. Damn it. First off, when it comes to auto-targeting, there is no on-screen display of what you are actually targeting. Sometimes the camera will go in a completely different direction, and other times it won't even lock on to what you want. As for the mines, the design of them is fairly basic, and bosses offer no real strategy besides dodge and shoot. Not to mention the Zennies seem to disappear very quickly after you defeat an enemy. However, unlike Zelda, Legends features full-on voice work. Now, to be fair, the dubbing is 10 times better than other Capcom games at the time, but sometimes it seems the mouth doesn't move in proper sync with the voices. I mean, how annoying can that be? Something isn't right. When Legends was released in 1997, it was fairly well received. However, sales weren't to Inafune's liking, who recently said it was a failure from a sales perspective. In 2000, it was ported to the Nintendo 64 as Megaman 64, and while the graphics looked cleaner and loading was gone due to the 64-bit cartridge processing, the port felt like an afterthought with nothing new added, and the audio really badly compressed. From the start, Inafune had it in his mind to start a whole new story with Legends, and so plans for Legends 2 began basically after the first game was released. But while development of Legends 2 was taking place, Capcom would release a prequel spin-off thing focusing on everyone's favorite pirate in The Misadventures of Tron Bon. Released in Japan in July of 1999, The Misadventures of Tron Bon begins with Teasel in a Gustav mech suit with 6 of the 40 servbots on the hunt for a legendary refractor near some ruins before running into a fellow pirate, Glide, with his duck army, playing the role of loan shark and kidnapping Teasel and Bon for defaulting on a 1 million Zenny loan made to Teasel by mobster Mr. Loaf. Without her brothers and outstanding debt, Tron sets out to repay the debt with her servbots, the only way they know how. By stealing everything! The controls are the same as that of Legends, only this time you're able to control the servbots by shooting beacons at where you want them to go. So, like Pikmin, but with more brains. I think. Tron succeeds in getting the money by completing certain missions, which include robbing banks, exploring caves and ruins, and by completing moving box style puzzles. We're also introduced to other characters including the miner Dance and the down-on-her-luck police officer Diane, who is much stronger than she looks. Like I said before, there are 40 servbots, and they're not all the same. Every single one has their strengths and weaknesses, and you can help them out by training them, finding things to inspire them, or even better, punishing the ones who are lazy. While it definitely has a lot more managing than Legends, there was just something so appealing about playing Misadventures, especially the fact you could raise all sorts of mayhem. As well as that, the game also came with an additional demo disc of Mega Man Legends 2, which would get released that next year. Legends 2 would be set 2 years after the original, and we meet Barrel and his friend Werner von Blucher setting out on expedition to a storm-riddled place known as the Forbidden Island, in a giant airship known as the Sulphur Bottom, a place that 10 years ago, Roll's parents, both diggers themselves, set out to explore and never returned. During a press conference on the ship, however, a mystery woman steps forward to ask a question, only to have Barrel recognize her as his daughter, Roll's mother Matilda, who ends up shooting the ship. Roll, having seen the entire thing unfold on TV, is determined to find her and get some answers. Legends 2 is a much bigger, much more improved game to the original, or even Tron Bon. Firstly, the series finally has proper DualShock support, so moving around feels much easier. Even better, the lock-on actually shows a targeting reticle, and you can move while shooting this time. The world is much bigger as well. Instead of being set on one island, Megaman and Roll now use the flutter to visit numerous locations. The first one being Yoshiroku City, where they acquire a drop ship to head to the Forbidden Island, and finally stop the storm that has been circling the island for as long as people can remember. This leads to Legends 2's story, which is a much bigger one in comparison to the original, and requires Mega Man and Roll to acquire 4 keys that will finally lead them to the Mother Lode. Not to mention the design of the world is greatly improved. Of course, by 2000, people had mastered the PlayStation development. Oh, what would this game be without the return of the Bonds, especially Tron, whose infatuation with Mega Man has gone to the point where she tries to trick Mega Man with an audio device pretending to be Roll, who acts like she hates him. However, it also seems Roll's infatuation with Mega Man has grown as well, with you giving her gifts and such, and not to mention at the end of the game, you might want to read her diary. That doesn't escape the fact that Mega Man is a huge pervert. In the first game, Mega Man actually walks in on Roll getting changed. I mean, everyone makes mistakes, and he should have not, but in Legends 2, he walks in on her having a bath and fist pumps!
Hey! What do you think you're doing?
And instead of hitting him, she gives him a discount on weapon enhancements! Legends 2 in all sense of the word was the perfect sequel, taking the original game and improving everything about it. And after it was ended, everyone couldn't wait for the third game to wrap things up. But that didn't happen. Despite being critically acclaimed, Legends never saw the sales numbers. And despite continuous demand from its fans, it seemed that Legends wouldn't see its third game. Until 10 years after the release of 2, Keiji Inafune announced that Mega Man Legends 3 would be coming to the 3DS, and the fans would have a chance to join in on the development process. Capcom introduced a concept called Dev Room, where fans could vote or even design parts of the game. The first event they held was voting on the design for a new character, Aero, to go alongside the other new character, Barrett. Things were going good, and Legends 3 prototype was set for release on the Nintendo eShop on June 6, 2011. However, things started to slowly fall apart in October 2010, when Keiji Inafune left Capcom after almost 25 years. But still the project moved on, until July 18th, 2011, where it was officially announced on the dev room that Legends 3 had not met the criteria required and was officially cancelled. Fans were gutted, as it had been the second cancellation of a Mega Man game that year, the first one being Mega Man Universe. And over the coming years, other Mega Man games would get the cut, including Maverick Hunter, a reimagined FPS created by the original developers of Metroid Prime over at Armature Studios. But it's safe to say fans were absolutely distraught by this decision alone. After almost 10 years, Legends 3 was almost in their hands before being snatched away. And just to add insult to injury, Capcom Europe's Twitter blamed us, the fans, for not getting involved enough. But at least Mega Man got on Street Fighter Cross Tekken right. The ugly fat guy from the original game's US bad cover art. As of now, however, there is no plans to release the original 3 games in the PSN store as PS1 classics, with Capcom claiming licensing problems due to outsourcing the voice acting. Both Legends games are available on the PSP, however, but only in Japan, and the games look no better than they did on the PS1. Also released in Japan on mobile phones would be a series of mini-games released through the iMode service. The standout one being Rockman Dash... Yeah, I'm not saying that. There we go! Rockman Dash, Great Adventure on 5 Islands. Released as 5 episodes, the games are most likely never to be released anywhere else. What happened here? What caused Capcom to turn their Blue Bomber so badly? I'd hate to think that Capcom scrapped all these games just out of spite for Inafune leaving. I mean, Kamiya and Mikami have been gone for almost 10 years, and they're still making Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, and Dino Cry. Actually, forget that last one. What's worse is that Inafune offered to work on the game despite leaving, and Capcom refused. Was fan support that important? Not everyone who plays games actually wants to make one, or even offer his ideas for it. I mean, I love Zelda, but I wouldn't expect Miyamoto to listen to my ideas. Maybe they just didn't think it would sell enough. I mean, back then the 3DS was staggering. Now, it's the best selling system out there. It could have all just been timing. So what can we do here? Well, obviously there's a fan campaign over on Facebook called 100,000 Strong for Mega Man Legends, as well as the official Capcom forum, Capcom Unity. But all we have to do is look at other successful campaigns like Operation Rainfall and Starman's numerous Earthbound movements especially. After almost 10 years, all it took to finally bring Earthbound to US and Europe again was the power that is Miiverse. And right now there are numerous Mega Man communities for all the original Virtual Console games. So go to them and spread the Legends love. And if I've heard correctly, Miiverse will soon be coming to 3DS. So there is a chance if Nintendo realizes there is money to be had, they'll walk to Capcom and use the Yamauchi stare or something to get it made. Or, you know, help with the publishing. I mean, hell, they got Mega Man Smash 4. Ah yes, after the last few years, hearing Mega Man coming to Smash Brothers has to make any fan of Blue Bomber happy. And I would say buy when it comes out, but come on, that's already going to happen. People will be buying 3DS and Wii U's by the ton for this game. And maybe, just maybe, Nintendo goes and buys Mega Man and saves it. And then we get Legends 3 made by Miyamoto, Enigma, and Inafune. Sorry. The fanboy in me went into an overload fantasy. But one thing I will not tolerate from anyone in the games industry is blaming your fans. I don't give a rat's ass what excuse Capcom made, or what they actually meant. And the perfect way to sum up my thoughts? Martin Landau, help me out here.
Fuck you!
Exactly. Capcom, you were developing this game, not us. If we were, you would no doubt issue a cease and desist order on it. Did you really need that much involvement from fans? Were you suffering from creative block? Or were you offering this to us as a gift? And when not everyone who wanted Legends 3 joined in, you felt offended? Well, right now I'm offended, and I've lost faith in you as a developer, Capcom. I mean, how can I, if you are essentially seeking freelancers from the internet for this project, with an emphasis on free? Ask for an opinion here or there, sure, but don't put the weight on our shoulders. And you blaming us is essentially like blaming us for the beatings you gave Megaman. Well, now it's time for the fans to stand up and defend our Blue Bomber. I still believe Legends 3 can be made, but it's going to require a large movement to get it going again. But the internet is capable of great things. And folks, that's it for me this week. Next week is, yes, my 100th episode. What am I reviewing? You'll just have to wait and see. I'm Enigma, and legends never die. This is an Unboxed update. I've never needed to do anything like this before, but this needs to be brought to attention. As you most likely can guess, Unboxed episodes are written and filmed weeks in advance, so naturally when the news arrived, we had to bring it up. At PAX, Keiji Inafune, Megaman's creator, announced his brand new project with his studio Concept, a little project called Mighty No. 9. It seems that Inafune, feeling guilt from Capcom's decision to cancel Legends 3, is starting work on a brand new side-scrolling game that looks a lot like Megaman. And like most new projects, he's brought to Kickstarter. As of filming this, the project still has 28 days to go, and it's already passed its $900,000 goal. In fact, it's reached $1,144,000 at this moment. And they have stretch goals. With $2.5 million, they will make the game for the PS3, 360, and Wii U, with a planned release date of 2015. And who knows, maybe if he gets enough money, he could buy the Mega Man license and make Legends 3. But hey, that's just wishful thinking. I'm Enigma, and thanks for watching.